Honorable Ministers, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us today. The African Water Facility has promised you a very exciting session on waste and energy. But just before we dive into it, I have some two exciting news to bring you, which promise great things for the African water sector. The African Water Facility is an initiative created by the African Ministers' Council on Water and administered by the African Development Bank. It was launched in 2005 to attract investments to help develop the African water sector. Indeed, to meet the water and sanitation targets set by the Millennium Development Goals 2015 and the Africa Water Vision 2025, the African water sector needed additional investments for the construction of the water infrastructure and services needed, and the African Water Facility was created with this in mind. Our role is to prepare bankable projects and provide technical support to African communities, governments, and organizations. So far, and with the help of our partners, the African Water Facility has been able to support 92 projects in 51 countries, including a number of fragile states such as Burundi, Liberia, Sudan, and Zimbabwe, with support to Somalia and Sierra Leone in the pipeline. Since its very beginning, the African Water Facility is recognized as having contributed significantly to the development of the water sector in Africa, especially the positive change to the lives of people. In fact, our two most important measures of success are our ability to leverage investment through the preparation of bankable projects and creating the enabling conditions for these investments to be implemented and sustained over the long run for the benefits of millions of people. We are proud to say that much of our efforts have finally paid off. So far, we have been able to mobilize close to 1 billion euros for investments through our project development efforts. Our leverage ratio is far beyond what we had expected. For each euro invested, on average, the facility is able to attract 30 euros. The number of people we have impacted is tremendous. There is no doubt tens of millions of people have or will eventually reap the benefits of projects developed by the facility. This is truly what matters most to us. And finally, this brings me to today's major announcements. The African Water Facility recognized that it wouldn't be able to achieve any of these results without the support of its partners. The facility owes its existence to 15 very generous donors who have supported us through thick and thin. Those are Algeria, Australia, Austria, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Burkina Faso, Canada, Denmark, the European Commission, France, Norway, Senegal, Spain, Sweden, the United Kingdom, and the African Development Bank. And today, we are delighted to welcome a new member to our donor community. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I have the honor to announce that the Nordic Development Fund has generally committed 6 million euros to the African Water Facility to become its 16th donor member. We are all aware of the precarious financial situation in the world today, and therefore, you will all agree with me that this gesture from NDF bears special meaning. Thank you, NDF. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, join me in thanking Mr. Pasi Hellman, the Managing Director of the NDF, who has personally spearheaded this contribution to the AWF. Mr. Hellman is here with us today and will be invited to say a few words right after this. Needless to say, we are deeply honored to have been chosen by the NDF as key partner to support the pursuit of their development objectives in Africa, all the while giving us the opportunity to accelerate the attainment of our own development objectives. The NDF boasts years of experience tackling development and climate change issues around the globe. The quality of their work is what makes these donors so special. They have a specialized knowledge and expertise that we were very much looking forward to learn from, especially in the area of climate adaptation and mitigation. And their generosity doesn't stop with their millions of commitments, which brings me to our second big announcement. Indeed, there is more to come for the African water sector this year. It is our great pleasure to let you know that the African Water Facility is committing 16 million euros in grants to finance a call for proposal for the preparation of water and climate change investment projects aimed at building resilience to climate change in Africa. The funding to be allocated to projects range in size from 1 to 3 million euros. This initiative will receive special technical assistance support from the Nordic Development Fund, as well as from the Austrian Development Cooperation Agency. Our heartfelt gratitude to both agencies is in order here as well. Thank you to each one of you for contributing to climate change experts to work with our specialists for the implementation of this important call. Mr. Andrea Knapp, you are here today on behalf of the Austrian Development Agency. Please convey our deepest gratitude to Mr. Martin Ledolter, the Managing Director of the Austrian Development Agency. This call for proposal is meant for any African organization eager to propose exciting water investment projects that take climate change into account. Take advantage of it. This is your money. But most importantly, this is your future. The deadline to apply is November 14, 2014, 2 months from now. All the information pertaining to this call is available on our website, www.africanwaterfacility.org. You can also leave us your business cards if you wish to sign up to our electronic newsletter and to receive more information about the call. The African Water Facility is committed to addressing climate change. With regards to water, climate change means more droughts, more floods, coastal erosion, erratic rainfall patterns, and growing concern over water availability and quality. Now put this against increased water demand, the expected consequence of population growth, and you have a dangerous conundrum to deal with, especially in Africa. More people means more water is needed for agriculture, domestic use, industry, energy, just to name those. We are to manage these challenges in the face of precarious water availability in time and space due to climate change. We urgently need solutions. We can no longer design water projects without considering the changing climate context and the significant impact it is having on our water resources. And living up to the promises we made at the last African Water Week in Dakar, we decided to launch this initiative to walk the talk. The AWF wants to select and support the most promising, sustainable, climate-smart water project to generate a real shift in the type and nature of water projects being implemented on the continent to ensure water security for future generations. We hope to see many interesting proposals coming our way by November 14. Don't miss this opportunity. I will now leave the floor to Mr. Pasi Hellman, the Managing Director of the NDF, and to Mr. Andreas Knapp, who will say a few words on behalf of Mr. Martin Ledolter, the Managing Director of the Austrian Development Agency. Thank you for your kind attention.
Ministers, Excellencies, and ladies and gentlemen, we at the Nordic Development Fund are excited about this collaboration with the African Water Facility and also through AWF with cooperation with the African Development Bank, which of course is a key actor in supporting development in Africa and with whom the NDF already has extensive cooperation in co-financing operations. We think that the African Water Facility has a great understanding of the water and climate-related concerns affecting Africa, and it has shown good ability to leverage funding for further water investments in the region. The Nordic Development Fund, in turn, as a multilateral development fund financed and owned by the 5 Nordic countries, aims at facilitating investments in low-income countries that address the causes and consequences of climate change. There is indeed a very close link between the focus areas of these 2 organizations. Many problems related to climate change revolve around water. For example, flooding, sea level rise, heavy rains, or lack of it, like drought or desertification. And these, of course, cause devastating consequences and affect millions of people. This partnership between NDF and the AWF is, for us, an important piece in reaching our goals set forth in the NDF strategy, including greater emphasis on Africa. The Nordic countries, in general, are in many ways in the forefront regarding water research and development of concrete, practical solutions for water use and management. Nordic technologies and solutions for water and climate change concerns are in use globally and in Africa. Examples of these technologies and solutions currently being used in Africa in NDF-funded projects include, for example, a company which utilizes solar radiation to purify and heat water for households, and another company which provides remote communities with water using a solar-driven pump, and the communities pay for their water via mobile telephones and smart cards, while ensuring that funding is allocated to maintain and operate the pumps. By joining forces and using the experience of both African Water Facility and the Nordic Development Fund, we expect that together we can support more these type of clever, effective, and innovative projects and project ideas that combine attention on water and climate change. I thank you for your attention, and thank you.
Honorable Ministers, I'm co-executive director, colleagues from the African Water Facility, colleagues in the audience. I'm really happy to stand here on behalf of the Austrian Development Corporation. And for us, as a relative small country with a limited portfolio in development cooperation in terms of budget, we have to be quite strategic and selective in the areas we are going to support. And we just found in the Africa Water Facility a very good match on that. Because as we are saying, we may not have the financial resources to really put the money into the big investment as such, but at least we could provide catalytic money to be able that this actually investment comes about at the end of the day. And this is very much in support of our two priority sectors. We are sort of trying to support the Nexus idea by having the energy sector and the water sector as priority sectors in Austrian Development Corporation. And therefore, this launch of the African Water Facility and this offer to all of you to develop through this bankable project comes very timely and is very much in line with our targets and objectives to support Africa. And I want to connect also to the presentation of the minister from Nigeria on the dam project and how it relates to climate change, because my previous duty station was Nepal. And the interesting thing that Nepal suffers for similar threats. But in the case of Nepal, it's glacial lakes. It's glacial lakes affected by climate change. Snow is melting at a higher degree, and the lakes are actually, the natural glacial lakes are growing, and there's a high fear that these lakes may break and really cause major devastation. So it resonated a lot when the minister was presenting. And so what I want to say, I'm really also happy to see, and the Austrian Development Corporation, that hopefully with this additional seed money to the African Water Facility, we are really moving from rhetoric to practice. And we really walk the talk in terms of coming up with bankable project to, I would say, to address the accelerated or the increased challenges of unserved population. And unfortunately, it's again the most vulnerable population affected most by climate change. So once again, we are happy To see that happening, we hope we can continue our partnership with the African Water Facility to really leverage and make sure that more investment is coming up to really help and avoid that the most vulnerable population is negatively affected by the effects of climate change. Thank you very much.